Hey YouTube, Ben from the future here, and just wanted to make a quick little announcement and apology. So first with the apologies, I'm going to say sorry in advance for the glare. I got to the site a little bit late, and I was rushed for time in terms of setup. So little apologies there. Hopefully everything turns out okay after post. Secondly, the announcements. If you haven't checked out the Happy New Year announcement video for 2024, I highly suggest that you check it out. It just has a little bit of a plan for January and early February, and it has two sub goals. So once we get to 600 subs and then 1,000 subs, there's going to be two separate giveaways. So if you want to know what we're giving away, check out the video there. Hope you enjoy the coverage. I'm definitely a little bit out of practice, so hope you guys enjoy nonetheless. Hello and welcome to the Legacy side event at the face-to-face tour that happened on January 13th. On player one side, we have the talented Flesh and Blood player Noah Clark, as he is representing it on his playmat, the World Championship Series. I believe he came second. So, very extensive card game history. You know, casually played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic. And I think he said that he played a lot of Legends of Runeterra via COVID, and then he gave Flesh and Blood a try, and he's never looked back. On his opponent is on Jeskai Control. I'm going to be referring to him as Caleb, and yeah, they are starting the game off. So Noah going first, starting with Polluted Delta into evoking a grief, pitching a snuff out. Caleb is going to let that resolve, and he is going to reveal Narset, Prismatic Ending, Dress Down, two Ponders, Scalding Tarn, and a Prismatic Vista. This is kind of a tough decision. I wonder if he just chooses to cut off the card selection. Looks like he is going to go after one of the Ponders, and then if there's a way to reanimate this spell, we just strip away another Ponder. I don't think you're too worried about dress downs. Your converted mana costs for most of your creatures in the scam package are going to be really high, so prismatic ending not too much of a problem either. And like waiting 3 turns to play a Narset is not where you want to be anyway. So cutting off all of the card selection and cantripping that Ponder does is just a really good strategy here. So Caleb gonna pick up his cards. Top deck's a Teferi, so the argument is the same here. Teferi, a 3-mana Planeswalker with the Narset, and it's just going to be really slow, while Noah just slowly chips in away at Caleb's life here. Down comes a Polluted Delta, and passing the turn back to Caleb. Caleb top decking a Terminus, going to reveal it and cast it off of the Scalding Tarn. That's a weird situation. I've never come across that. I guess I would have to look deeper into how miracles work. I'm wondering if you can crack the fetch in response to being able to cast it. I guess because miracle is a triggered ability, I should consult a judge. Anyway, Caleb going to cast the prismatic. Sorry, Caleb gonna cast the Terminus and then just play Prismatic Vista and pass the turn. Noah just gonna play a Wasteland and blow up the Tundra. Pass back to Caleb. Caleb gonna just play a Flooded Trade and pass it back to Noah. Noah gonna take his turn. Now we're going into the tank. Passing back to Caleb. Caleb gonna draw. Finds a Source to Plowshare and passing the turn back. Not being able to find this third source of mana for these two Planeswalkers in his hand. Noah gonna draw. Going to fire off a Ponder. Going to instantly resolve. Can we get a glimpse at it? Looks like they are good enough to keep. Not going to be shuffle drawing. Going to draw the card and play a Swamp. So put the Swamp on the top from the Ponder and just plays it. Going to pass to Caleb. Caleb drawing another Terminus. No reason to miracle that. Just going to pass it back to Caleb. Or sorry, back to Noah. Caleb is really struggling to find this third source of mana here. I'm wondering if Noah has a way to capitalize on this to just find a threat and also continue trying to deny Caleb his mana. Although it is very difficult because they are both fetch lands. Going to evoke another grief by pitching a third grief. Is this going to resolve? Caleb going to crack the Flooded Strand, going down to 15. I think he's going to just dress down this. Looks like he wants to defend his hand and then just do a cantrip. He does have the Swords to Plowshare to deal with the grief if needed. Going for double basic lands here. Going to respect the Wasteland. There's a Force of Will in Noah's hand. Yep, here comes the dress down in response to the grief. So it's going to enter the battlefield, but it won't have any abilities. Caleb going to draw Triumph of St. Catherine off of the dress down. Kind of miracling in the wrong order here. But it wouldn't even count. Yes. Okay, draw. There's a Ponder. Hopefully this can find Caleb his third mana source. Noah going... Is he considering punishing this? There's an Orcish Bowmaster. I might... If Noah does have two blue cards in hand, like one with a Force of Will and then another one to pay the cost, I would consider forcing this Ponder. Like, Caleb has done nothing for like 4 turns because he's been struggling to find lands, and then denying the card selection off the Ponder is wouldn't be a terrible position or decision, because you are threatening 5 points of damage on the board already. The Ponder does resolve, however, so we're going to see Caleb. He does have a 4th Aerlingus and 2 lands on it at the top. Draws a Volcanic Island. There's a ping to Caleb's face. Down comes a Volcanic Island. So I believe the top of Caleb's library right now is Scalding Tarn into the 4th Aerlingus. Noah going to fetch for an Underground Sea. Okay, so Noah going to draw for the turn. Going to come in for 6 points of damage. Going to plow the Grief. Is that a Daze? There's a Force of Will. Pitching a Murktide. Okay. So I think there's a Reanimate left in Noah's hand, if I saw that correctly. Alright, so he will pass back to Caleb. Caleb going to draw. There is the Scalding Tarn. This is a pretty difficult position here for Caleb. It's not a great choice, but it could be that... No, even if he goes to Teferi to try to bounce the Orc army, because he has to draw a card from resolving Teferi's effect, the Bowmaster will just finish off the Teferi. And then he'll also just have an Orc army anyway. So that's kind of a... That's a really bad choice. Wow, Orcish Bowmaster is much better against Teferi than I thought it was. Like, I knew it was like pretty good, but that is a really strong play. Alright, so Caleb gonna crack the Scalding Tarn. Finds a Tundra. This is a really bad position because Caleb doesn't have a way to put this Terminus back on the top of his library and draw it. Okay, here comes Teferi. Looks like he upticked the Teferi. Prismatic Ending can deal with the token? Oh, does Teferi come in with 4? I didn't realize that he came in with 4. Okay, Grief swinging at Caleb directly brings him down to 2. Threatening lethal. Gonna play Bowmaster. Finishes off the Teferi, and now just has this almost the same board state that he did last turn. Just 1 less point of damage. Caleb in a really, really bad spot here. Finds a Mystic Sanctuary on the top of his library. So Caleb finds a Mystic Sanctuary, and yep, that is just going to be it. So Noah will take it over Caleb in game 1. Okie dokie, here we are in game number 2. Caleb playing Jeskai Control is going to be going first over his opponent, Noah, on Dimir Scam. Noah patiently waiting to see whether or not Caleb is going to be keeping his hand. Looks like they are both ready to start. Okay, we are ready to start off. Caleb with a Tundra into Ponder. Didn't get to cast one last game at the beginning. Gotta do it as soon as possible. Looks like there's a Swords to Plowshare in his hand, going to instantly shuffle the deck and draw off of the deck blindly. Here we go. Looks like he top decks an island. Noah gonna draw for his turn. Drops a Wasteland. Is he gonna strip him away? Yes, he is. All right, going to pass a turn. There is the Triumph of St. Catherine for Caleb. Down comes an island. Noah gonna draw after Caleb passes it back to him. Looks like he drew an Underground Sea. Plays it for turn. And just passes back to Caleb. Caleb gonna draw. That is a Blood Moon. Really good against Scam. Down comes a Mountain. Very interesting. All right, Noah going to Swamp Cycle the Troll of Khazad-dûm. Finds a second Underground Sea. So playing straight into this Blood Moon. I wonder if Noah has a way to get out of a Blood Moon lock. He might have the counter spells to prevent it. Although we haven't seen any scam happening, so there could be a grief in that huge grip of cards. If there isn't, then I have no idea why you keep the 7. Then kind of low actions from Noah. Alright, down comes a Brainstorm. Going to draw 3. Going to put 2 back. Does he have a second land drop? He does, from the Troll of Khazad-dûm. Here is the beginning of the scam. Here comes an Evoked Grief. It's going to resolve. Wow. Wow. Jace the Mind Sculptor making an appearance here in round 4 of Legacy. I mean, if you're Noah here, you have to take the Blood Moon, right? Otherwise, next turn, he's just going to slam it. Yeah, I'm going to reanimate Grief. Takes the Swords to Plowshare because the Prismatic Ending doesn't really matter. Caleb will eventually find a fourth piece of mana for the Jace, so he could bounce the Grief, but I don't think Noah really minds the Grief being bounced. Looks like he top decks a Lavinia, so quite a few white cards in Caleb's hand, but doesn't have a white source. The early Wasteland on the Tundra was pretty good. Noah gonna draw for turn and swing in with the Grief. Brings Caleb down to 17. Don't think there's any other actions that Caleb can take. Alright, what will Noah do? Whoa, there's another Wasteland. Taking out the Volcanic Island. Pretty good. It looks like Noah might be counting up for a Murktide. Yep, definitely a Murktide. There's only 2 spells. So it is a 5/5. Right, so not quite lethal. It's only 8 points of damage. Okay, Noah gonna draw for turn. Caleb not finding any lands. Struggling to find a white source here. Going to pass back. Caleb draws for the turn. It is a Wandering Emperor. Yikes. Coming in for another 8. Brings Caleb down to 1. Comes down for an Orcish Bowmaster and shoots him for the game. Noah Clark taking it over Caleb in game 2. Alrighty, ladies and gents, we will see you for round 5.